know something about me if you don't already. I am definitely part bro. In between each peak, in between each peak is about a foot.
Oh yeah. Oh, now we've got.
Now you have a drift truck.
We found the mode. Oh. Hello, y'all. What's up, bros?
You put on the voice of the people like a politician.
What's up? What's up, bros? Welcome to the Bronco Raptor, a car that when I picked my wife up from the airport last night, she called a brodozer.
Yeah.
She said, "You picked me up in a brodozer," and she ain't wrong.
Right.
This is, I know brodozer really refers to big diesel trucks normally, but she ain't wrong. This is accurate. The Bronco Raptor. I am excited for the Brraptor. In this video, we will answer three main questions. One, how does it compare to the Jeep 392, which we tested at the exact location we are at here today?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, is it too big? Because photos don't really do it justice.
They don't.
It's a biggin. It's a biggin. It's a widen. It's a tallin.
It's a fenderin.
It's a fendin. Yeah. It's offensive.
It's a fendin.
Yeah. And three, should you buy the Raptor for $80,000 as tested, or should you buy a lower end Bronco and use the aftermarket to make it suit your needs? Hey folks, today's video is brought to you by Athletic Greens and their amazing nutritional drink AG1. Look, this stuff solves a real problem for me, and that's twofold. One, post-workout recovery with vitamins and vegetables, and two, getting nutrition when I'm on the road. Here in Los Angeles, there is fresh fruits and vegetables and produce all over the place, and when I'm home, I try to eat that stuff. But the problem is, half the time, I'm on the road. I'm in airports, I'm at racetracks, I'm in towns in the middle of nowhere where I can't have that, and I need my vitamins, my minerals, and my vegetables, and that's where AG1 comes in. I just get a little scoop going here with this awesome metal scooper, or if I'm on the road, I bring a road pack. Dump this guy in here, mix her up with 8 to 12 ounces of water, shake her around, and not gonna lie, straight chug. Because, let's be honest folks, look at the color of that. It ain't exactly fresh squeezed OJ. But the really good stuff for you often isn't. Just look at the back of this. It is packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients. It's packed with magnesium and adaptogens that help you recover from workouts, and a bunch of vegetable proteins that help you get that healthy stuff when you're on the road and frankly can only eat crap. Look, just because we're busy people, it doesn't mean we can't be as healthy as possible. And when you've got fruits and vegetables to eat, you should definitely do that. But so often we don't. And that's why AG1 comes in so handy. You can get those vitamins and minerals and all that great stuff in the 4 seconds it takes to chug a drink. And then you don't have to think about it for the rest of the day. Hit the link in the video description, and when you get started on the order, Athletic Greens will include a 1-year supply of this vitamin D supplement. We all need more vitamin D, and 5 free travel packs to get you started. Thanks to Athletic Greens for sponsoring today's video.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Boilerplate items, 3-liter twin-turbo V6, 418 horsepower at 5750 RPM, 440 pound-feet of torque. That's not just more boost than the lower-end V6 models. It's actually a third of a liter more displacement.
Right. They bore and stroke it. They also give it a less restrictive intake system compared to the engine. This shares an engine with the Explorer ST.
Right. And bigger turbos.
And bigger turbos.
Garrett turbos.
And different cylinder heads, I believe. So there's some hardware
There's
there.
hardware for sure. Also, there's extra cooling. There's a more powerful fan. There's a more open grill with gaskets around it to direct the air in. There's vents in the hood for extraction. There's a second transmission cooler. The regular Bronco only has one. This one has two. And so you get more power, you get a wide power band, and you get it from hardware changes, not just software changes. And it's really designed to have the shat beat out of it in really extreme heat.
Yeah, there are like guards and things all over here. There's a skid plate, a bumper plate. There's a plate covering all the way basically from the front bumper to the back of the transfer case.
Yeah.
So there's additional plating under there for bashing.
Yeah. There's also strengthened cross members so that it's less likely to break if you were to yump it.
Yeah.
There's a more rigid steering column assembly which holds up to rock crawling better, and not to mention it is 9.8 inches wider than the regular Bronco. It's about the same width as a regular Raptor, less than an inch narrower than a F150 Raptor, with 60% more travel in the front, 40% more travel in the rear.
Yeah, it's 13-inch front, 14-inch rear, which is huge.
It's a lot of travel with the Fox independent reservoir bypass shocks, although they're adaptive. They have different modes, which is very interesting. And in the engine, there's even an anti-lag system, not like race car anti-lag, but it does help. It does leak a little bit of fuel into there when you lift off the throttle to keep the boost spooled up for if you're doing a quick pedal movements.
Right, that's activated when you're in the Baja mode, which we will be testing shortly.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that in the street mode. You wouldn't want like an overboost function. But in the Baja mode, when you're driving fast on dirt, you got to set stuff up early, and so that's when it's okay. If you're driving a tight canyon road, you wouldn't want the thing boosting when you lift.
Well, it also fills that gap. People are missing the V8 in the old F150 Raptor and the throttle response. So this is a way to kind of minimize that.
Right. So we're going to drive a little bit of tarmac, and then we're going to play in the dirt. You've got your GOAT modes. It's not the worst acronym.
No, it's good.
No,
it's pretty good.
Goes over any terrain. You've got your street mode, normal. You've got a sport mode. That's actually for street dynamic handling.
Autocross, stuff like that.
Right. You've got a towing mode. You've got a slippery mode for water and snow. And oops, if I put it into slippery mode, it automatically goes into four-wheel drive. You've then got your rock off-road mode, you've got your Baja mode, and you've got your rock crawl mode. Woo! All right, so sport mode, sport mode, manual gearbox, and actually for sport mode, it puts it in 4x4.
And the suspension is now in sport mode, right?
The suspension is in sport. Okay. The throttle is in sport, and we will just where's that button? Just I can't imagine why this will matter on the street. But I will hold this down, and traction control is now off, and I will do a brake stand, brake boost, building some power, and here we go.
Undramatic is how I would describe it.
Undramatic, but for 5,750 pounds, somewhat rapid. I don't have an instrumented test, but I would guess that was under 6 seconds to 60 miles an hour.
I think that's like the estimate that seems accurate. No one's done official instrumented testing on this because, one, why would you? But two, it's probably not going to be great because this has a little bit smaller engine, and that truck is not exactly quick. 0-60 is like 5.8 or something.
It also has to spin 37-inch beadlock tires,
right?
BFG KO2s. And if you're wondering, hey, why is there water everywhere? We just drove through a rainstorm to get here.
It's summertime in the desert.
Summertime in the desert, and it rains.
So I looked up this spec because we know that like the taller tires is like having a taller gear, but the weight is also crazy. A 35-inch tire on average weighs like 60-ish pounds.
Yeah.
The average 37-inch tire weighs 71 pounds.
It's a lot of unsprung weight.
Exactly. So it's a lot of rotational.
Not to mention bead-locking wheels are heavier too.
For sure.
Because there's like hardware in there holding them together, right?
Yeah, this has the optional bead-lock available tires. Like you can put bead-lock tires on this if you want to.
It has a valved exhaust that you can control on a button. And there's even a disclaimer if you get to Baja mode. It's like off-road use only, but you can totally just turn it on wherever you want. The disclaimer is very funny. On the tarmac, one thing I do find very charming about this truck is that it rolls like a trophy truck. It dips when you hit the brakes. It really leans down on the nose. When you go flat, it really roars back on its haunches. And when you turn into a corner, I mean, it's got a ton of body roll, but it does it in the manner of a Baja truck, and it gives me those real stadium super truck vibes.
That's what you want, because I feel like the 392 felt like it cornered a little too flat, like it was oversprung, and
Right.
It didn't feel correct for the vehicle.
I have to give Ford props. The 10-speed gearbox with these paddle shifters, the paddle shifters are really good. They're really responsive. It does exactly the thing I want right when I ask it to.
Those are quick shifts.
The gear changes are really quick, both up and down. And I would put these paddle shifters on the same level of responsiveness of the BMW sports sedans we
I would
drove
agree. Yeah, the
recently.
ZF8 speed. Yeah, this is very quick.
And look, I just hit red line and it did not upshift automatically. That is good.
It seems like they have put in the right hardware and software so that you can have the fun you want out in the desert and the sand where you don't want it to shift unexpectedly. And it's still a little noisy in here. You know, we've driven now three different Broncos, and this has the optional kind of felt covered sound deadening, but there's still a good amount of wind noise, tire noise, and actually, like, I don't know, is that the exhaust or the gears?
There's the exhaust and there's whine from the tire noise.
Gotcha.
At low speeds, like when I was driving through LAX airport the other night, I was driving with the windows down at low speeds. The tires sound like a rain stick.
Oh,
you know, when you turn the rain stick over? Yeah, but like kind of a higher pitched one. And then the engine, you know, it's not like terrible sounding. Nissan GTR is actually a fairly familiar comparison to this engine. I think it sounds a lot like a GTR.
Yeah.
But it's not like great.
No, definitely not, because a GTR doesn't sound great. We know a GTR is fast, so we go, oh, that's the sound of something cool. But I wouldn't play it at night on like a MP3 player in my house.
Like, I'm not inspired to put the exhaust in off-road Baja mode.
No.
Because I want to hear this glorious noise. Now, at low speeds, when you're rolling into it, if you got the windows down, you can get some turbo whoosh. You can get some of those sounds, and I imagine an aftermarket intake might contribute to that a little more.
Probably.
It's not slow. Like, it actually does go pretty good. And it's comfortable on the highway. You can cruise at 85. There's wind noise through this top, even with the insulation. But it is a comfortable highway road tripper, more so than the Wrangler, I think.
I totally agree.
Better.
Well, this IFS is better. The steering's better. It tracks straighter, and I think these seats are different than the ones that you can get in the Sasquatch and everything.
Seats are good.
They're extra bolstered. They're
I like
good.
the seats.
Yeah, they're good.
These are very good seats.
Yeah.
The driving position is good. The stereo is pretty good. The Bang & Olufsen. The fuel economy is awful.
Dismal.
I know this will shock you, but the fuel... Oh, where was my spot? Was it there? My fuel economy was 10.1 in the city and 14 on pure highway.
Yeah,
which,
really bad.
Considering we've given up a V8 and added 4 more gears to
We haven't gone anywhere. You know, ironically, we haven't really gone anywhere.
not
This
really
disgusting.
gotten us
Your
much.
Raptor with a 6.2 could get like 14 to 15 highway.
Yeah.
And that is a 6-speed
Yeah,
V8, and
yeah.
this is also very heavy, incredibly boxy.
that was my spot.
Not at all efficient in the wind, and yet we're still getting terrible mileage.
So, I know I've done the driving so far. Zachary will get to have his fun in the place where it matters.
Yes.
Let's now hit the trail and see where the fun starts.
Grab your helmet.
I didn't bring a helmet.
You should know something about me if you don't already. I am definitely part bro.
And I am part Habibi. So
You
this
do.
Is, this is really a match made in
We are
heaven.
qualified for the desert.
Wow, the motions.
Wow.
The control of the body, huh?
It's smoother here than it was on the highway, even with these little bumps and things.
Flick,
We're gonna go,
left.
I don't think
No,
we'll make
too
that
late.
turn.
Too late.
Too late. Our turning radius is not great. Steering feel is very light. That is adjustable, but right now it's very light.
One thing you should know about us is we don't have a mission. We are driving wherever, totally freestyle right now.
We are.
Off-road mode.
Off-road steering now. So I'm in off-road mode, not Baja. You're going to try Baja mode.
So the rear diff is locked. I hope our cameras don't get shaken off. Rear diff locked, traction control off, 4x4 high.
4x4
That's
high.
your Baja mode.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh my God. It feels like the body's going to get torn off.
Well, it's not because of those reinforcements. It's 50% stiffer than the regular Ford Bronco.
I'm hoping that those rattles are stuff in the car and not the car.
I think they are. My brand new computer is probably just separated itself from its housing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go find something slightly smoother. Those are really small,
are
high-frequency
aggressive
bumps.
Yeah.
But I will say, we are shimming all over the place. But the ride through the seat is oddly comfortable.
The seat's really good.
Like, I feel like we are on the jet ski and it's moving around us.
Yeah.
And we're kind of floating in the center. I gotta find my way out of this place.
And just as a piece of life advice, if you were a little overweight and wanted to feel very conscious about being on camera, let me have a recommendation for you about where to go and what to do.
On the other hand, you know how they used to have those beds in motels you put in $1 and it would vibrate, and apparently that was a good thing?
Maybe you need
this
to go
is
faster.
A much more expensive version of that. See if that smooths it out. It does not.
It's not necessarily. I mean, we're carrying 45 miles an hour.
We are.
Through these whoops here.
And these are really small. I mean, these are probably what, a foot long in between each peak. In between each peak is about a foot. Brake pedal feels nice. Pretty responsive up top. Enough cushion where it's not biting too aggressively. How do I get out of this bumpy hellscape?
Where is out? What is your goal?
I think my goal is to find something smoother. I don't know. Whack the tail. Let's see.
Well, the control is really good. Like what you're doing with the wheel, and then what the truck does right afterwards. Like, you have to set it up, but then the reactions are quite good.
Yeah, you know, I immediately feel comfortable in what it's going to do and how it's going to respond, which I think is a good testament to, you know, the dynamics. Hell no, the dynamics of it, and also the steering rack speed is what I would.
I think it would make it up that, but I don't know what's on top.
I don't either.
That's a motorcycle thing,
right? Some of the trails here are ATV only.
Yeah.
Which
we didn't read the signs.
Well, these signs here are for vehicles, but I have accidentally driven about 20 feet up one of those long ago and realized it was for ATVs only when it got a bit narrow. The acceleration here
on
is
dirt
impressive.
Is good.
Yeah. Following our tracks. I mean, that's why, ladies and gentlemen, when you off-road, you drive thumbs out, because the wheel can snap and break your thumbs. I mean, yeah, you pointed it out, like, dynamically, it is reacting correctly. Like, I dip the brake a little bit, turn and lift like you do in rally cars. Yeah. It sticks the front. It just feels like we're sitting on top of a rally car.
Yeah. It's like we're in the rally car's roof rack.
Yeah, we're in the Thule.
I feel like I'm a housewife in the 50s with one of those machines.
I feel, yeah, one of the vibration belt machines.
Yeah.
Like someone's showing you a video of a race truck while you're on one of those belt machines and you're trying to watch the movie.
Early virtual reality.
Exactly. Don't you see, Mrs. Johnson? It puts you right in the action. Don't you feel like you're right there?
Don't you feel like Rod Hall, ma'am?
Plus, if you get a little hysterical, you do an extra time, you calm down a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, this trail, this is good. This is Raptoring.
I mean, this is what this truck was built for. Like, their target was, you know, desert running, Baja stuff. They pulled some parts off of their race truck, the DR race truck. Stronger axle, stronger transfer case. They put a stronger clutch in it. And there's a really cool thing with lifted trucks. You can see all the suspension. So you can look into the wheel well and you can see the bump stops that they have that are on the control arm. So it's not like at the top of the shock travel, you know, the shock hits a bump stop. There's actually one mounted to the control arm that just bangs onto the frame. I just think that's so rad.
Good on you for putting together thoughts right now. I'm just going wee in my head. This is the right trail, though. We have found the right trail for this truck.
Man, this is very impressive.
Stock mobbing for sure. Shout out to Trophy Burrow.
It just floats.
Dude, this thing is...
I understand why they reinforced the unibody so much. I was like, I figured the regular one would be strong, but if the regular truck is mostly meant for trail,
no, the doors would have been back there by now.
Yeah, and luckily we'd keep our side mirrors if the doors fell off.
Dude,
You know, the engine, I know it doesn't sound like much, but it is responsive.
no, it's totally effective.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sound like anything.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
I think
should I
it's
have a rip
time for
back?
you to drive before I do something interesting. Wow.
Pretty cool, huh?
Wow.
All right.
Dude.
That was awesome. Okay, where can I make a U-E? We're on this island here.
Well, this has a function where you drag the inside rear tire if you want to make the U-turn. So you can make a tight turn.
All right. Trail turn assist on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Drag my inside wheel. Oh, look at that.
That is pretty impressive.
As soon as I got like most of the way to lock.
Wow. That's
Boom.
This is like what, a little wider than a 2-lane road?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
That was really good. All right.
big
Trail
truck.
turn assist off. Now let's turn our goat mode to Baja.
Baja.
Baja is going to open the diffs back up. But I want to turn off traction control. I don't.
It is off.
I don't know. It says hold for advanced track off. So now advanced track is off. We're in manual mode. Okay, now here we go. Baja.
Baja.
Oh,
Nice.
now we're talking, bro. Get some nice like oversteer, and you really can rally car style it like just a little like lift turn brake. Oh, it's loosey goosey in Baja mode.
Well, yeah, this sand at this speed, you got to plan. It's not quite like chess. It's in between chess and checkers.
But what I'm just learning right now and very impressed by is if you squeeze the brake, it really does plant the nose and allows you to rotate the tail end around that nose. And especially right now, because this sand, it rained before, so the sand has this sort of dense, moist layer on top of it. Oof. Yikes.
Yeah, I feel like this dances more than the 392 did. Something
yeah.
about the 392, it felt very rigid, and it wasn't as willing to dive in the front. Probably, I don't know if the engine weighs a lot more, so they had to have stiffer springs. It just didn't feel like it had this kind of like Baja truck motion.
Yump.
Woo!
But the steering is really, really good. Like shockingly responsive and precise, considering how tall we are and how big the wheels are, how far we are off the ground. I'm really shocked at the precise level of control that I have at the front end here.
And it's so, that landing was just one and done. You know, it just touched down and that was it. This thing rips.
Yes,
this
it does.
rips.
This thing is fast.
Oh man. And see, now you understand why it's so wide, because you need this stability for these turns and for sliding. So they had to put on these bigger axles in the back, which is like 8 inches wider. Like it's not like they put a wheel spacers on and just like a weird offset. Like the actual axle is 8 inches wider.
You need the geometry.
Yep. And then we have longer control arms, so that's why we have more travel, that's why we have more stability. You know.
Oh my God. I might recommend a compression shirt. Man, it's a rough ride in here, but it's doing it.
Wow.
This thing is, we're hitting the whoops at 57 miles an hour, not slowing down. Oh man. It's making noise. It's making noise. Whoa!
We are making smoothies in our stomach right now.
Oh yeah. It's just shaking that poo right through the colon.
Big whoops.
Oh boy. Oh!
Pretty great.
The response is really good when you get into the boost. Really good.
Yeah, whatever that anti-lag system is working very well.
Oh wow, look at this wide open space we found.
It's big, but man, out in this kind of environment, it shrinks a lot.
Well, that's the thing is, you can't put it in rear-wheel drive Brraptor, though. That's the problem.
Well, there's no rear-wheel drive Baja mode.
Right. Excuse me, I misspoke. Thank you. But can I put it in sport mode, two-wheel drive, locking diff, traction control? Traction control on, traction control off, advanced track off, then put the shocks back to normal. So now I've got normal shocks off, rear wheel drive, locked diff. Oh boy, hang on. Big one.
That's a way to flip a truck.
Yeah, wait.
Or kick flip.
I've gone the wrong way. I didn't want to, I wanted to stay in the skid pad area there. But I found the fun mode. They don't have, why doesn't Vaughn have a fun haver mode?
That is
for
true.
This? There needs to be a RTR collab fun haver mode with the rear wheel drive Brraptor.
That's gotta be in the works, right? I mean, he races Ultra 4, this has a bunch of Ultra 4 parts.
Look,
Nice.
I can figure eight it.
Yeah, you can. Like making the track.
Dude.
I can't believe how something that feels gigantic on the highway.
Look, set, transition.
Lift. Yeah.
It's tough because there was a really big bump right there, and I didn't want to like.
And the reaction time is different than on a skid pad that's tarmac.
Well, I didn't want to catch an edge, but the fundamental dynamics of the set, turn, enter, really lean into it, like those are drift car dynamics.
For sure.
Like they're there.
I mean, that's why rally's so fun, and that's why Baja racing to me has always looked like the funnest thing in the world, because it's like jumps, sliding, there's so many variables and so much terrain, and you're doing it while going fast and driving in a way that road racing is like, you're gonna get a black flag if you keep oversteering like that. Like,
yeah.
Get out of here.
No, this is cool. I mean, and although, there's clearly something anti-environmentalist about this, it's like super macho and aggressive and bro-y, and the fuel economy's terrible and all that stuff, and it's not a tread lightly kind of vehicle.
No.
Here in California and in Baja and in Arizona and whatever, you have these open desert parks where people come out with desert toys,
right,
and can really enjoy this kind of stuff in a way, that you can't enjoy a sports car on the street.
Right.
You can jump stuff, you can do drifts, you can do all kinds of kind of silliness, and like the fact that you can do that kind of stuff pretty easily in this vehicle, and then just drive it home.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty excellent.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Polaris side by side, but it has cruise control and everything else in it.
Yeah. So our questions. How does it compare to the 392?
I think it feels softer in a good way. I think it feels lighter on its feet in this environment. I think it rides and tracks better on the highway as well. And that car, they're both loud inside with wind noise, but that has the added boom of the engine, which is fun for a little bit, and then you get tinnitus. Like,
I think this is objectively better in almost every way, except the way that thing is worse is kind of charming.
Just because the sound.
Because it sounds like a hot rod. It's like super antisocial. It's like a dragster.
That car sounds the way this car drives in terms of demeanor. I think enjoy, or the way this drives off road.
But I'd rather actually own this and use it every day.
Yeah.
Is it too big? Out here, no. Out here, it's the right size. On the highway and the roads, it's a little big, but it's manageable.
Yeah, you just have to keep in mind it is the size, it's the width of an F-150 Raptor, which when you stand next to them, that is a giant truck.
Yeah.
So this, I think, looks smaller because the cabin is smaller.
Right.
But actually operating it, like, here we have these fender markers, which are really handy in the regular Sasquatch cars. But here, you got another 6 inches of tire you have to think about that you can't see.
Right. So in my 2-car garage at home, parking this next to my Mach-E, it's pretty close on both sides. I can do it, but it's kind of inconvenient.
Right.
So if you're going to park this in a 2-car garage next to another car, don't know about that. So
if you get this, you have to do this stuff with it, because otherwise you are, once again, we've talked about this before, you are making your life more difficult without having the payoff. You are compromising yourself without getting the benefit. Right.
And should you do this stuff yourself in the aftermarket, or should you buy the Raptor? I've been consistent about this ever since the F-150 Raptor came out. The kind of stuff that this comes with would be very expensive to replicate in the aftermarket, more than it would cost to buy it from Ford. And you get a warranty,
right,
and you get factory development, so you know that everything that's on here is going to work well together.
Yes, that's a big thing, because this starts $15,000 more than the Sasquatch package. But like the shocks, the adaptive dampers from Fox are tuned to the computer. They talk to each other at 100 times per second. Like, that's stuff that you might not be able to find on the aftermarket. That, and then all the hardware, again, is warranted and tested. And it's not just a tune and an appearance package. Like, there is serious metal that was changed on this, including the unibody. Like, you're not going to do that at home. So that's a big thing too.
Factory engineering goes a really long way.
Yeah.
Plus, with all the different modes that optimize the hardware, just being there, it's pretty money.
Yeah.
Pretty money. So shout out to Ford for letting us have a go. This thing rules.
Well done.
I mean, it rules. It gets you the fun of the Raptor, but in a more manageable, the fun of the F-150 Raptor, but it doesn't make you buy a truck if you don't need a truck.
Right.
And it is a more compact package than a Raptor, even though it's still kind of big.
Yeah.
And thanks to you guys for watching, and we'll see you later, and I will make more donuts.
Yes.
And remember, always fight your tickets. Use code TST10 on the Off the Record app, available in the Android and iOS store, or go to offtherecord.com/TST.